Hello and welcome to the McTaggart Attack Podcast. I'm Kevin McTaggart, and in this episode, I'm going to talk about my New Year's resolutions or goals for 2021 with me personally, through personal development with stand-up comedy and with podcasting. Hope you enjoy listening to it. Give it a like if you enjoy listening to it, or subscribe wherever you're watching, whether it's on YouTube or listening to it, wherever you listen to it on podcast. Just go ahead and do those things. I'd appreciate it. And happy fucking New Year. I don't really like making New Year's resolutions. I don't. I think for me, the problem has been that I make the New Year's resolution and then to exercise or something, and then you stop doing it and you're like, oh, oops, stopped the New Year's resolution, need to start it again next year. I feel like a lot of people do that. Like they break their New Year's resolution and then they think, oh, start it next year again. And then they'll break it again next year. And then the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that. And it's a vicious cycle. And the past few years, I've learned that it's good to just make goals. Just don't do the resolution thing, because doing the resolution thing makes you think, oh, starting the year off right, and then you don't do it and you're like, oh, I'll have to start again next year. But if you it's okay to start over again, is what I was trying to say, stumbling through, so it's like, you can make a New Year's resolution, but you can, if you break that New Year's resolution, you can just start again. It's okay. You don't have to wait for 2022 to roll around to start your damn goals again. You know what I mean? I'm going to go ahead and talk about some stuff that I want to try to do in 2021. And if they don't happen, if I go off the path, I'm going to keep trying to do it. I'm not going to be like, all right, well, can't do that, gotta move on to the, next to 2022. I'll just be a lazy ass for the rest of 2021. No, it doesn't go that way. It shouldn't go that way. It does go that way, but it shouldn't go that way. It just shouldn't. It does, though. And I think it does for a lot of people. And that's why I hate New Year's resolutions, because people just think, oh, well, didn't do it. Screw that. I can be a lazy ass motherfucker for the rest of the year and try again in 2022 or 2023 or 2027, for crap's sake. Just, if you stop, start again. That's it. It's much like with meditation. If you're breathing and you're focusing on something else, if you start thinking about something, if your mind gets distracted by something as you're meditating, you just breathe again. You just start breathing again. So if you're running, if you're gonna run every other day and you skip a day and you think, oh, I can't run anymore till 2022, no, just start over. Start again. Keep running. Keep eating healthily. Stop smoking cigarettes. Don't drink so much. You can still do those things. You don't have to wait until 2022 rolls around to keep doing those awful habits just because you broke a stupid New Year's resolution. I mean, honestly, it's just, people are so stupid when it comes to that. It's annoying. Just annoying. So with all that being said, I do have some New Year's resolutions that I'm going to be working on this year. But like I said, if I fail at them at any point during the year, I'm going to keep working on them, as other people should try to do. So, and I think I wrote them down. That's what I did for this podcast episode, and I'm going to allude to that later too when I talk about this. But I'm going to be, yeah, I wrote down stuff I want to work on in 2021, New Year's resolutions, as it were. I have it here in my notebook, and you can see the notebook. You know, hopefully you heard me when I lifted up the notebook. I don't know, because I'm like recording this on my camera on my iPhone. My iPhone 10XR, which is a fabulous iPhone, by the way. I highly recommend it. But I have a few, like I said, I split them up in the categories. Like there's personal, like self-help type stuff. And then I'm going to talk about stand-up comedy goals and what I want to do with the podcast. You know, so I've split them up into those 3 categories. And I know I'm probably going to mention this in the intro. So you kind of already know that anyway. Or maybe you don't. I don't know, because I haven't done the intro yet. Because what I do now is I do the intro after I do all this talking. But, like, you know, like I said, personal self-improvement stuff, personal development stuff, however the hell you want to call it, stand-up comedy and podcasting. So, like, there's a few things, and it's pretty simple, I think. It's nothing big. Though it sounds simple, but I think they're hard things to grasp. You know, they're hard concepts to grasp, but I feel like I'm at a good place where I can grasp them. So, not grasp them physically, but you know what I mean. Like, I think I'm gonna do a good job with them. Like, one of them is there are 2. And they're both kind of connected to each other. Like, one is to be in the moment a lot more from now on. Meaning, like, don't, and, well, yeah, like, use mindfulness. Use mindfulness a lot more in my day-to-day life. Like, try to be mindful a whole lot more is the first thing I want to try to work on. I'm already been doing a lot in meditating a whole hell of a lot more and using mindfulness a whole lot more this year, as I talked about in yesterday's episode. And so that's a thing. And so I'm definitely in 2021 going to continue using meditation and mindfulness as coping mechanisms, because they've helped me so much when I've felt anxious or felt some form of anxiety, mostly during work or whenever, you know, and it's just the simplest thing. That's like breathing through your nose and out through your mouth. You know, just breathe in and out. You know, and doing that over and over again, just a couple times even, makes me feel so much better. So because of that, I just want to keep being more mindful in 2021. And that leads me to the second thing with personal development that I want to work on for 2021, which relates to mindfulness, but it's how did I word it? I don't even remember how I worded it. I'm referring to the notebook again, and I'm just trying to figure out, just stop taking up headspace. Stop filling my head with the thoughts of, what am I going to do? If I do this, what does that mean for my future? If I do this, if I do this now, how is that going to help me when I'm this? Well, I don't know what that is. Like, why am I in this awful job when I don't want it at some point? Well, maybe there's a reason for all of this, I just need to, what's the word? I'm obviously in this position for a reason. I'm obviously in this situation for a reason. And I should, use mindfulness to take advantage of what's around me. And, just stop worrying and thinking about, what am I going to do with my life? That's a roundabout way of what I was trying to say. So, there's the be a lot more mindful. Stop thinking about, what am I going to do with my life? Because if I keep thinking about and worrying about, what am I going to do with my life, I'm not going to do anything with my life. So that's a thought that occupies my head so much. It's annoying. And I think I wrote down there's a third thing that I think will help out a lot. And I need to stop, using my phone. I need to limit the screen time on my phone a lot in 2021. I'm going to try and cut down how often I look at my phone for social media, because it's so stupid. Because usually I just look at social media to see how many views my posts get. It's not even to really read other people's posts or look at other people's TikTok videos. It's to see how many views my posts aren't getting. So it's just I just need to stop looking at it, and be more mindful. I guess all of these goals wrap around mindfulness in some degree. When I'm looking at my phone, just be more mindful. Hey, do I really need to be looking at this phone right now? Because I'll tell you what, last night, I didn't have my Apple Watch on when I went to sleep. It was charging by the bed, and I left the phone before I went to sleep. I left the phone over here on my computer desk, and then went to sleep over there. And I had this. I woke up at 3 a.m. with a few good ideas that I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have had, or wouldn't have taken the time to think of, if I didn't have my phone right next to me as I was sleeping. My phone is my teddy bear, I swear to fucking God. It's terrible. But yeah, I'm gonna stop relying on my phone a whole lot. Stop looking at it for stupid shit. I almost want to delete the social media apps from my phone, or just try to find a way to post and it's not really posting that's the problem. It's the going back to seeing who's not reading my posts is the problem. My problem with social media is that I look at the vanity metrics way too much, and I need to stop doing that. And I intend to work on that in 2021. So with my personal development, I plan to be a lot more mindful, use mindfulness a lot more, use it with what I think about, what I occupy my thoughts with. Like, for example, like I said, what am I going to do with my life? Just be present and just let the universe take me wherever it's going to take me. But have goals, of course. And just be mindful with that and with my phone and all that stuff. That's what I intend to do in 2021 with personal development. So for me, in 2021, with stand-up comedy, of course, right now, it's in a bit of a holding pattern, but throughout 2020, I've been thinking about what I want to do with my material, whenever this pandemic comes back. I've thought about, my material, because I've not been happy with my stand-up comedy material, because I want to do it differently. I feel like I'm not as authentic on stage as I could be. And I feel like with anything, the more authentic you are, the better you'll be. Because the more authentic you are, the more the crowd or whoever is watching will appreciate you. Or some people may not like what you have to say, and I just have to be all right with that. And I just need to work a lot more on my material. And like, I'm going to be writing a lot more starting now and in 2021, because I've realized that my writing process is kind of fucked up, because usually what I've done is write notes on my phone in the OneNote app, the Microsoft OneNote app, and then I don't really go back and look at any of those. I don't really take the time to work on any of that. And like, I mentioned the notebook earlier, and I'm going to use the notebook a whole lot more when it comes to writing material. And I'm going to keep doing it, like journaling. Like, I've been doing a lot of that recently. I used to write in my notebooks a lot, and I used to write in like the worst kind of mindset, like the depressed, lowest me, what the hell am I doing like with my life mindset. But I now that I'm more positive and in a much better mindset than I've been before, I'm gonna be journaling again, because I feel like that's gonna help me out and clear my thoughts on things and help me decide things and help me figure out shit. And most of that stuff's gonna help me with is stand-up comedy. So I'm looking forward to working on material for whenever live in-person comedy shows come back, which I'm hoping will be midway through this year. And once it starts rolling again, I'm going to be traveling a lot. I'm sick of staying in the house. I need to get the hell out of the house and then just go anywhere to do any open mics, work on material, go back to the way I was, because I tried the write notes on my phone experiment for the past couple years, and it hasn't fucking worked. Writing in my notebook is a lot better to do, and I'm gonna do that from now on with my comedy. And yeah, I just need to work on that. And I constantly think in my head how I want to do my material and what I want to say, and there's stuff that how I want to present it, and I just need to be more authentic with it. And I look forward to when I can tell jokes in front of people again, because it's been so fucking long. Oh my god, it's been so long. This is just like 2014 when I had my DUI and couldn't do stand-up comedy. This has been a longer period of time. But it'll be over and things will be back to normal, and because people will always need stand-up comedy. Because the world is a shitty place and we need to laugh at it. So that's what I plan to do with my stand-up comedy, is work on that, travel more, just bust my ass. Because I love doing it. It brings me... stand-up comedy is one of the few things in my life that makes me happy. And I can't wait to do it again. And when I do it again, I'm going to kick some ass. So with podcasting, with the podcast, I want to take it in a different type of direction. I want to take it in a sort of different type of direction. I want to answer like a lot more questions in podcast episodes. You know I've done that a little bit this year with when I looked up what is systemic racism. What is Antifa? What is all that other stuff. I looked up quite a few things that I didn't know in my podcast, and I want to continue to do that. There's some topics already in my head already. Like there's going to be an episode on Edward Snowden. There's going to be an episode on WikiLeaks and Julian Assange. There's going to be an episodes. What I wrote down some shit about. Edward Snowden, Julian Assange, the Johnny Depp thing. I want to look into that Johnny Depp situation, because I feel like, from what I've seen, he's getting a bum rap. And I want to look into that. I want it to be sort of like John Oliver's This Week Tonight, but with me doing it. Not necessarily news, but like just me looking at stuff I find interesting. Or stuff I know very little about, but want to know more about. Or just questions that arise in my head. Or if anybody listening to this has questions that they want me to look into, let me know and I'll do it. I just feel like answering questions on my podcast and making those the topics will inform people and hopefully entertain them too, or if I do topics that can motivate people, that would be great. I just want to provide some sort of purpose, some sort of service to people, because I still do the podcast for me. Like I said, like I'm looking up topics that I don't know that much about. Like if a question pops into my head about something, I'm like, what is that exactly? And then look it up and then do a podcast episode about it. That's what it's going to be. I'm still going to do it Monday through Friday. For now. I'm doing it Monday through Friday. And we'll see what happens whenever the pandemic stops. If it stops, who knows? But I also, I'm going to answer a lot more questions. A lot of the topics of the podcast will be me answering questions about stuff. And occasionally I'll still be ranting about things. Or I'll be ranting about stuff when I'm answering these questions. I just want it to be more of an investigative approach, sort of. Like, is Michael Jackson still alive? Seriously, that's a thing that I saw on TikTok. And I'm like, I need to look into this. Because I want to know. Don't you want to know if Michael Jackson's still alive? I want to know. But this podcast has evolved a lot in the 4 years that I've done it, and it's going to continue to evolve until I make some money out of the damn thing, because that's what I want to do. I would love to do the podcast for a living. And one of the goals for this podcast in 2021, or the main goal of this podcast in 2021, besides the subject matter, is to get paid to do this podcast. Or put the podcast in a better position for me to get paid to do it, either through sponsorships or something. I don't know. But that's what I intend to do with the podcast in 2021. Hey, thank you so much for watching and or listening to the podcast today. I really appreciate it. If you watched it on YouTube, please do me a favor and subscribe to the channel and like the video. And if you listen to it on an audio podcast, please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to the podcast. And that's the bottom line. If you smell what the McTaggart Attack Podcast is cooking.